So Nintendo has officially announced that Nintendo Power will be ceasing publication at the end of December of this year, and I was a little sad when I found out the news, so I decided to pull out my very first issue I ever received when I was an actual subscriber of Nintendo Power. And as you can see, it kind of matches up with one of my other favorite things, and that is wrestling. And here you go, you got Hulk Hogan leg-dropping Earthquake, if I remember correctly, or maybe that's Typhoon, but I think that's Earthquake. But that was my first issue of Nintendo Power, and that was the April issue of 1992, and I'll never forget receiving it, popping it open, and going right to the fourth installment of the Zelda comics, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, with its great artwork and referring to the Master Sword and everything else. And hey, there's a Super Mario comic in this too. There was so much great stuff about Nintendo Power, though to be completely honest with you, I think they really hit their stride in the mid-90s, and I think they kind of lost it getting towards 98, 99. How can you ever forget the Nintendo Power Super Power Club and the Super Power Supplies catalog? And of course those early issues from the late 80s and really early 90s were fantastic as well. But my treasured years will always be 92 to probably 95. And it's sad to hear that Nintendo Power is coming to a close. But you collectors out there, well, you probably already have all the Nintendo Power back issues that you want. And thanks to websites like Retro Mags and all that other stuff, it's still possible to check out these awesome issues of Nintendo Power. So rest in peace, Nintendo Power. You were a great magazine back in the 90s, and it's sad to see another magazine disappearing to the form of the digital age, but such is life. Rest in peace, Nintendo Power. So, as you can see, here is one of my recent pickups, and this is Persona 4 Arena. Just thought I'd give you my quick impressions of the game. Big fan of Persona 4, really one of my top JRPGs in quite some time. I got addicted to it really quickly. But Arena, of course, is a one-on-one fighting game, and in terms of art style, it captures the Persona look perfectly. In terms of gameplay, I am liking the fighting system. Someone told me it's just like Marvel vs. Capcom, and I don't think it's that chaotic. I think there is a little bit more form to this game than Marvel vs. Capcom, which is always good. Not a big fan of Marvel vs. Capcom here. Characters are large, animations are great. Music is the Persona music, which the Persona 4 soundtrack had some great songs, and it also had some really grating songs. And those grating songs really kind of come into play when you play the story mode of Persona 4. Now granted, I am playing as the protagonist from Persona 4. The cutscenes are, and I guess you'd call them more static cutscenes and dialogue scenes than anything. Some of them are 15 to 20 minutes long before you actually get to a fight. So much so that there's voiceovers and text that there's actually an auto-read button that you can hit to have it just go through the motions. Of course you can skip that, but geez, I thought Mortal Kombat had some decent cutscene length in terms of story mode, but this goes above and beyond. And maybe not necessarily above and beyond in a good way. It starts to get Metal Gear Solid lengthwise in terms of cutscenes, so that's a little annoying. Of course, if you want to jump in and just skip the cutscenes altogether, there's always arcade mode, which I've played as well, and that's pretty good as well. I'm saying as well as a lot, but that's okay. Pretty much after that, it's really just diving into arcade mode and trying the different characters. Like I said, I've pretty much just been playing as the protagonist from Persona 4, and overall, decent game, not great, not bad, but I won't give an official opinion on it yet till I play it some more. So, just some short thoughts on Persona 4 Arena. Hey everybody, not too much to talk about on this week's Logically Thinking. First off, if you haven't checked it out yet, there's obviously my Street Fighter Cross Tekken Artworks review from UDON Entertainment. A very cool book. If you haven't checked out the video review, please do. And if you'd like to check out the written review, you can check that over at themikemurdis.com. That is due out in shops in October, I believe. Speaking of UDON books that are out in October, I have a review coming up of the Persona 4 official design works. That should hopefully be up either tonight or tomorrow. The written review will be up tonight over at themikemurdis.com. You can check it out. Really big Persona 4 fan. As you can see, I just picked up Persona 4 Arena, and the fact that I got to review the book was perfect timing as well. So that's also due out in shops in October. Very cool, so be sure to check out the review for that. There'll be a video review for that as well, probably in the next couple days, but the written review will be up shortly. Other than that, no fear, the music video is continuing to do well, picking up a lot of plays. Seems like the single has pretty much been divvied out to the rest of digital retailers, iTunes, eMusic, Amazon MP3, a lot of them basically have them, and so far reviews have been very, very positive. You have a couple people coming in, chiming in, saying, you know, oh, it's easy to do, whatever, but you really got to ignore those people. But so far, so good in terms of review of that. That's really great. If you haven't checked the music video out, please do. It's on the front page of my channel. And if you are a Facebook user, don't forget to add the Gamer Logic fan page on Facebook as well as the Unleaded Logic fan page, because occasionally there is some exclusive content that is on there. And of course, there's always unleadedlogic.com. And other than that, guys, I really don't have too much to talk about. Maybe one last thing is I finally finished the rest of my arcade upgrades. Finally got a proper arcade monitor in my Space Duel cabinet, which is great. So that long-promised arcade update video that I was talking about in the past, well, that's coming up again now that everything's done. So I want to do things a little differently, so maybe if I can get my brother to come over and kind of hold the camera, I kind of want to talk about the machines a little bit more and cut things a little bit differently. That's a little bit hard to do when you're doing it by yourself. So we're going to do that from there, and that's really all I have for this week's Logically Thinking. Sorry there wasn't a lot of content other than the stuff in the beginning, and that's all for now. Peace, guys.